Look, nothing special here. Oh, man. Number 5 was the Toad style. In this style, allowed Amanda bend metal. Yeah, see? It's like, look, though it says in the Bible, it says if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. But it's like, it is one of the lesser professions addressed in the Bible, in the New Testament. Jesus does say this. He does say, sell your garments and buy a sword. And he's not talking about the sword of the mouth of the Spirit, because you can't buy that with money. So that's not what he's talking about. But, and Paul also says, if a man wish to strive for masteries and become a soldier, it says he must do it lawfully as well. So even your soldiering, if you do that for a living, has to be lawful. Even more so probably, because since you're doing that kind of job, you're going to need a clean conscience and clean hands. You know what I'm saying? And that's why all the extra rules, you know what I'm saying, which they're already outlined in the royal law anyway. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't get no Medal of Honor, man, for doing what's right, actually. It just should be natural anyway, but for some reason people, man, just hard-headed, need to be told over and over and over again. I know I'd be probably looking like Sling Blade to my neighbors too. I reckon I'm gonna eat some more of them there taters. It's like, anyway, so I don't think swordsmanship necessarily is a taboo or forbidden art biblically. Not to say that everyone necessarily has to be into that, but it is addressed in there. It's like, you're supposed to only have sell your garments and buy a sword. And actually when they went to go get apprehended too, when Jesus did, he was like, how many swords do we have? They were like 2, and he was like, it is enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, it's a requirement actually, the way it's said in one book, for some of us. So, and here's the one thing about it is, it's like, listen, it's the symbol of this. It's like, look, you know I know this here, so I could conduct myself with it. So you're not just some marked chump necessarily. So it's a respect thing. Like look, since I'm a Christian, I can't wield this for evil. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so even if it's a part of having the temptation there to strive for this instead of God's word, which is mighty to pull down strongholds. But this is still addressed in the book, but it's just like I said, it's one of the lower professions that are mentioned in there. So that's not out of the picture. You're not supposed to be just some mark wimpy chump always, but you are supposed to have mercy. Some people see kindness as weakness, and that's the whole thing. The royal law is kind acts. So that's the thing. See, people think it's weak to do kind acts, so that's what kind of turns them off from the Bible. And once again, you know, hey, this thing right here will tempt you to not do kind acts. You could do some very bad non-kind acts with this. So like I said, it's a responsibility. Just the same thing like using the Bible in a harsh, abrasive way, kind of like that gives it a bad taste, like Westboro Baptist. Everyone uses them as their poster boy for talking crap about like Christians in general. They use them as and they're using the sword of the Spirit and the word to cause hate and foment kind of like yeah, I'm making a video. Anyway, they use the sword of the truth of the Spirit wrong. You know what I'm saying? They use it kind of for harm and not in the right way, man. It's like they don't use it as a tool. They don't, and they also don't realize it's like, look, if however you attack people with your sword of the Spirit is the same judgment you're going to receive. By which judgment you use to judge others will the judgment that will be used to judge you. So you really have to learn to operate in integrity and in all fairness and all charity and all kindness and all understanding and all patience. You got to go through all these. It's like if one of those attributes ain't working, if charity ain't working and kindness and love, well, then in faith, you got to put it in God's hands and put your freaking sword away. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't want me to cut them chains off you yet. So, you know, you got to let that person, let thy chains be light upon thee. You know, I heard some guy say something like that. Any who will choose safety over freedom, he's like, let thy chains rest lightly upon your shoulders. I mean, it was a real... That's a pretty potent statement right there. But so is sell your garment and buy a sword. You know what I'm saying? In which that was Christ himself who said it. So that's red letter, buddy. And there's more to it, and it's been dumbed down to us. The true understanding of the implications of that type of that particular aspect of it. People don't address it much. They don't linger on it long. It's kind of like, you know, it's just kind of quickly swept under the rug, and then they're on to the Romans 13.